Hello everyone and welcome to How-FixIT. In today's teardown, we're diving into the iPhone 17 to explore its internal design, assess its repairability, and walk through the safest opening procedure step by step. If you're curious about the rest of the lineup, you'll find links to the iPhone 17 Air, iPhone 17 Pro, and iPhone 17 Pro Max teardowns in the description below. For tools, I'll be using a precision screwdriver set, plastic pry tools, tweezers, a suction cup, and a screen disassembly tool, all essential for safely opening an iPhone. Links to everything are included below. Okay, let's get started. As with previous iPhones, begin by removing the two pentalobe screws beside the charging port. Next, heat the back glass, about 2 minutes with a hairdryer or up to 90 degrees Celsius with a heat gun. Place a suction cup near the bottom, insert a thin pry tool, and work carefully around the perimeter. The waterproof adhesive is strong, so steady pressure is key. At the top, 2 metal loops hold the panel in place. Slide the tool downward to release them. Lift carefully as flex cables connect to the logic board. Inside the back cover, you'll see the MagSafe charging coil, rear microphone, and LED flash. Apple's removable back cover makes cracked glass repairs safer compared to screen-first designs. For the battery, Apple continues to use electro-induced adhesive for removal. To release it, you'll need a 9-volt battery and 2 small clamps. Bend back the insulating tab at the bottom of the battery. This is your connection point. The second clamp will attach to this screw. Connect the red wire to the positive terminal and the black wire to the negative terminal of the 9-volt battery. Attach the black clip to a grounding screw near the speaker and the red clip to the silver battery tab. Maintain the connection for about 90 seconds to soften the adhesive. If a clamp slips, restart the process. Once the adhesive loosens, gently lift the battery straight out, avoiding sharp tools. The iPhone 17's battery has a soft pack casing, unlike the metal shells used on the 17 Pro and Air models. It's rated at 3,692 mAh, offering up to 30 hours of video playback, an improvement over the iPhone 16's 3,561 mAh and 22 hours, thanks in part to the efficiency of the A19 chip. Up top, the Face ID assembly still combines the front camera, dot projector, and infrared camera on a single flex with a slim metal bracket. The earpiece speaker remains standard in size and straightforward to remove. The dual-camera system features a 48-megapixel main sensor and a 48-megapixel ultra-wide, an upgrade over the iPhone 16's 12-megapixel ultra-wide. The bracket style, connector positions, and flex routing, however, remain nearly identical to last year. Moving down, we find the Taptic Engine and the loudspeaker. The Taptic Engine is the same linear resonant actuator from the iPhone 16, offering identical footprint, screw pattern, and haptic feedback. The loudspeaker also mirrors last year's design, with a sealed acoustic chamber, mesh-covered port, and foam gaskets integrated into the water-resistant system. One major change is the SIM area. The iPhone 17 eliminates the SIM card reader entirely, replacing it with an internal plug. This removes a potential failure point and simplifies Apple's component inventory. Under the plug's cover is a ribbon cable bridging the Taptic Engine to the logic board. Output tuning, port geometry, and the adjacent lower mic integration remain the same, so repair difficulty and sound characteristics are effectively unchanged compared to the earlier model. The charging port assembly remains integrated with the lower microphone, making repairs more complex than with modular setups. The logic board is the last major component, but since the display tables are still attached to its back, it's safer to disconnect those first before removing the board completely. Next, the screen. Heat the perimeter again to soften the adhesive, then use a suction cup and pry tool to lift it. If the adhesive is too stubborn, a few drops of isopropyl alcohol will help. Like the back, the display has two hinges at the top. Push downward to release them. The iPhone 17's display has grown slightly to 6.3 inches, up from 6.1, with brightness boosted from 2000 to 3000 nits. Most importantly, the base model finally gets a 120 Hz refresh rate, a major leap from the iPhone 16's 60 Hz. Under the shields, the logic board layout closely resembles the iPhone 16, but now houses the A19 chip, a 6-core CPU with 2 performance and 4 efficiency cores, a 5-core GPU with hardware-accelerated ray tracing, neural accelerators, and a 16-core neural engine for on-device AI tasks. Together with the larger battery, this provides better sustained gaming and overall runtime. With nearly everything removed, only the cables remain. Antennas are located at the top of the case, while the USB-C port and microphones sit at the bottom. Button cables remain unchanged, though the control button is still welded to the chassis, making frame-level repairs more difficult. So, what's the takeaway? The rear entry design continues to improve repairability by reducing the risks of opening. The battery uses the same electro-induced adhesive, so keep that 9V handy. The upgraded camera system and longer battery life are meaningful improvements, while the charging port remains a fully integrated assembly, no easier to replace than before. Architecturally, the iPhone 17 and iPhone 16 are nearly twins inside, with the most practical change being the removal of the SIM card reader. If you'd like to see a full disassembly and reassembly guide for the iPhone 17, check out the video linked in the description. Thanks for joining me on this teardown. If you found it helpful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and check out my other teardown videos. See you next time.